The acceptance letter from nursing school arrived on a Tuesday. I remember because that was the day my family stopped being proud of me. Nursing? My brother David said, his voice dripping with disappointment. You got into pre-med at Stanford and you're choosing nursing. Mom set down her coffee cup with a sharp click against the saucer. Please tell me this is a joke. It wasn't a joke. I'd spent 2 years in pre-med watching doctors breeze through patient rooms while nurses did the actual work of healing, teaching, and comforting. I'd watched nurses catch medication errors, advocate for scared patients, and hold hands during painful procedures. I'd watched them save lives with their knowledge and their presence. I wanted to be that person, not the one who spent 7 minutes reviewing charts and moving on, but the one who stayed. My family didn't see it that way. Nursing is for people who can't get into medical school, Dad explained over dinner, using his patient voice like I was too stupid to understand. It's beneath your potential. I got into medical school, I reminded him quietly. Johns Hopkins accepted me. I turned them down. The silence that followed was worse than the arguing. That was 8 years ago. I finished my nursing degree, then went back for my master's in nursing administration. I worked bedside for 3 years in critical care, then moved into management. I learned hospital operations from the ground up, understanding not just patient care but the complex systems that kept medical facilities running. My family stopped asking about my career after the first year. At family gatherings, when relatives asked what I did, my mother would say healthcare and quickly change the subject. David would introduce his surgeon friends and lawyer colleagues, carefully avoiding mention of his sister's profession. Tonight's dinner was at David's new house, a sprawling colonial in the expensive suburb where successful people lived. Where people like him lived, his fiancée Amanda had cooked, and the table was full of David's impressive friends and their impressive careers. This is my sister, David said when introducing me, leaving off any details. Just sister, not my name, not my career, just the familial obligation he couldn't avoid. I'd learned to smile through it. I wore nice clothes, asked polite questions about everyone else's work, and deflected when anyone asked about mine. Halfway through dinner, one of Amanda's friends, a corporate attorney named Michelle, asked the inevitable question, "So, what do you do?" Before I could answer, David jumped in. "She works at a hospital." His tone was carefully neutral, designed to shut down further questions, but Michelle persisted. "Oh, what kind of work?" "Administration? Medical research." "She's a nurse," Mom said, her voice tight with something between embarrassment and apology. The table went quiet for just a moment, that brief pause that spoke volumes. "Nursing is for losers," David announced, apparently deciding civil embarrassment wasn't enough. He had 3 glasses of wine, and his filter had dissolved. "Let's be honest. It's what people do when they can't hack it in real medicine." Amanda laughed nervously. "David, that's harsh." "It's true, though," he continued, emboldened by her half-hearted protest. "My sister got into Stanford pre-med, got into Johns Hopkins Medical School, and threw it away to empty bedpans. It's honestly tragic." "So beneath us," Mom agreed, shaking her head sadly, like I'd died instead of just chosen a different career path. "We had such high hopes." Dad nodded. "Such a waste of potential. Nurses are just assistants, really. They follow orders. Anyone can do that." I took a sip of water and said nothing. I'd learned that defending myself only made it worse. They'd never understand that nursing required just as much knowledge, skill, and intelligence as being a physician. They couldn't see that choosing to care deeply about patient outcomes wasn't weakness but strength. "I mean, what do you even make?" David pressed, apparently not done humiliating me. "Like 40,000? 50? Meanwhile, actual medical professionals are making real money." "David," Amanda said again, but weakly. She wasn't going to actually stop him. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking," David said. "She could have been somebody. Instead, she's changing sheets and taking temperatures. It's embarrassing for the whole family." Michelle, the attorney, shifted uncomfortably. "Nurses are important, though. When my mom was in the hospital, the nurses were amazing." "Sure, they're nice," Mom said dismissively. "But let's not pretend it's a real career. It's a job, a service job." I set down my fork carefully and checked my phone. 3 missed calls from the hospital. 2 from Dr. Patterson, the chief medical officer. 1 from my assistant director. "Always on that phone," David muttered. "Probably some bedside emergency. Someone needs their pillow fluffed." I excused myself and stepped into the hallway to check my messages. Dr. Patterson's voicemail was terse. We had a situation with the trauma unit budget that needed my immediate approval. My assistant director needed sign-off on the new staffing protocols. The hospital administrator wanted to confirm my attendance at tomorrow's board meeting to vote on the new surgical wing expansion. I texted back quick responses and returned to the table. Dessert had been served. The conversation had moved on to David's latest case, some corporate merger that he explained in excruciating detail to demonstrate his importance. I left as soon as politely possible. Nobody asked me to stay. 2 weeks later, my phone rang at 6 a.m, David's number. I let it go to voicemail. He called again, then Mom called, then Dad. I was at the hospital reviewing surgical schedules when I finally listened to the messages. David's voice was panicked, stripped of its usual arrogance. Dad's having chest pains. We're taking him to Mercy General. Can you help us get priority admission? We can't wait in the emergency room with regular people. Call me back immediately. Mom's message was similar but more demanding. Your father needs immediate care. Use whatever connections you have at that hospital. Call the doctors you work with. We need VIP treatment. This is serious. Dad's message was barely coherent, clearly recorded from a car. Having trouble breathing. David's driving me to Mercy General. Tell them we're coming. Tell them we need the best care. Mercy General, my hospital. The hospital where I'd worked for the past 5 years. The hospital where I was currently sitting in my office on the executive floor. I looked at my assistant director who'd been with me for 3 years. My father is apparently coming to our emergency department. David Morgan will be with him. Do not give them special treatment. Standard protocol for all patients. She nodded, understanding immediately. Standard triage. No priority boarding. Exactly. I went back to reviewing the surgical schedules. An hour later, my phone rang again. David. Where are you? He demanded. We're in the emergency room, and they're telling us it's a 4-hour wait. Dad could be dying, and they want us to sit with people who have the flu. Fix this, now. I can't interfere with emergency department triage protocols, I said calmly. Patients are seen based on medical urgency, not connections. Don't give me that bureaucratic garbage. You work here. Talk to someone. Get us a private room. Get us a real doctor. All our doctors are real doctors, David, and Dad will be seen according to his symptoms and vital signs. That's how emergency medicine works. He hung up on me. Mom called 10 minutes later. This is unacceptable. Your father is sitting in a waiting room with immigrants and poor people. He deserves better than this. You work here. Do something. Mom, I can't override medical triage. If Dad's condition were critical, he'd already be in a treatment room. You're useless, she hissed. Absolutely useless. What good is having a daughter who works at a hospital that she can't even help her own father? She hung up too. I finished my scheduling review and headed to my 11 o'clock meeting, the monthly board meeting, where I'd been serving as chief nursing officer for the past 18 months. Before that, I'd been the director of nursing operations. Before that, assistant director. I'd climbed every rung of the ladder, earning every promotion through competence and dedication. The board met in the executive conference room on the top floor. 12 voting members, the hospital CEO, the chief medical officer, the chief financial officer, 3 physicians, 2 community representatives, and myself, among others. We made decisions about budgets, expansions, protocols, and policies that affected every aspect of hospital operations. I was reviewing the surgical wing expansion proposal when my phone buzzed. A text from the emergency department charge nurse. Your family is causing a scene, demanding to see you, claiming you're holding up your father's treatment. I excused myself from the meeting and went down to the emergency department. The scene was exactly what I'd expected. David was at the nurse's station, his voice raised, pointing his finger at the charge nurse. Mom stood behind him, arms crossed, radiating indignation. Dad sat in a wheelchair, looking uncomfortable but not actively dying. There she is, David announced when he saw me. Finally, tell these people who you are. Get Dad into a room. The charge nurse, Sarah, caught my eye. We worked together for years. She knew exactly who I was. Mr. Morgan has been triaged, Sarah said calmly. His vital signs are stable. His EKG shows no acute cardiac event. He's experiencing what appears to be anxiety-related chest tightness. He's on a list to see a physician, probably within the next 2 hours. 2 hours? Mom's voice rose to a near shriek. That's unacceptable. There are currently 3 patients ahead of him with more urgent conditions, Sarah continued. 1 car accident trauma, 1 stroke, 1 heart attack. When the next physician is available and Mr. Morgan is at the top of the queue based on medical priority, he'll be seen. Tell her, David demanded, turning to me. Tell her you're not just some random nurse. Tell her you have authority here. I looked at Sarah. Are you following proper trade protocols? Yes, ma'am. Is my father receiving appropriate monitoring while he waits? Yes, ma'am. We're checking his vitals every 20 minutes. If anything changes, he'll be moved up immediately. Then you're doing everything correctly. Thank you, Sarah. David's face went red. That's it? That's all you're going to do? What's the point of working here if you can't even help your own family? I don't work here to give my family special treatment, I said quietly. I work here to ensure every patient receives appropriate care based on medical need, not social connections. You're nothing, Mom spat. A worthless nurse who can't even help her own father. We should have forced you into medical school. At least then you'd have some actual power. I took a breath, considering my next words carefully. The emergency department had gone quiet. Other patients were watching. Staff members had stopped what they were doing. I am a nurse, I said clearly. I'm also the chief nursing officer of this hospital. I'm on the hospital board. I oversee 600 nursing staff members and have authority over nursing protocols, staffing decisions, and quality measures for patient care. I hold a master's degree in nursing administration, and I'm finishing my doctorate in healthcare management. David's mouth opened slightly. I make $180,000 per year, I continued, not including bonuses and my board stipend. I helped write the new patient care standards that were adopted across our entire hospital system. I've published 2 papers on nursing leadership in major medical journals. I speak at national conferences about healthcare quality improvement. Mom had gone pale. But most importantly, I said, I ensure that every patient in this hospital receives ethical, appropriate, evidence-based care, regardless of who they know or how much money they have, including my father. I turned back to Sarah. Please continue standard protocols. If Dad's condition changes, notify the physician immediately. Otherwise, he waits his turn like everyone else. Yes, Dr. Martinez, Sarah said. I'd earned my doctorate 3 months ago, but I still wasn't used to the title. Doctor? David's voice cracked slightly. Doctorate in nursing practice, I clarified. Different from MD, but still doctor. I didn't mention it because you made it clear you weren't interested in my career. I walked away before they could respond. I had a board meeting to finish and a surgical wing expansion to vote on. The rest of the day proceeded normally. Dad was eventually seen, diagnosed with an anxiety attack, and sent home with recommendations for stress management and a follow-up with his primary care physician. The board approved the surgical wing expansion with an $80 million budget. I signed off on the new nursing protocols that would improve patient outcomes across 3 departments. David left me a voicemail that night. I didn't know. You never told us. He was right. I never told them, but they never asked. Mom sent a text. We should talk. Dad's message said, Thank you for taking care of me today. I'm sorry. I didn't respond to any of them immediately. I was tired. The kind of tired that comes from years of being dismissed and finally being seen. Maybe we'd talk eventually. Maybe I'd explain that I tried to tell them about my career progression, my promotions, my accomplishments. Maybe I'd remind them of all the times I'd started to share my work and been cut off or dismissed. Or maybe I wouldn't. Maybe some lessons need to be learned through experience rather than explanation. I'd spent 8 years building a career I was proud of, making a difference in patients' lives, leading teams of brilliant nurses who deserved respect and recognition. I'd done it all while my family called me a loser. Their opinion had never changed what I was building. It had only changed whether they got to be part of it. I looked at my phone one more time, at the 3 messages waiting for responses. Then I put it down and went to bed. Tomorrow I had rounds at 7, a leadership meeting at 9, and a hospital quality review at 2. I had work to do. Important work. Work that mattered. Whether my family ever understood that or not was no longer my concern.